You got live? Okay, welcome everybody.
So just remember, everybody, it's just opinions.
Yes.
Not to the next level.
Should we say a prayer before this? Heavenly Father, I love the Lord. Okay, y'all, welcome to the Four Opinions. It's a beautiful, beautiful Thursday. We made it here. I'm super excited. Is it live? We got some special guests today. We got Tamika Charmaine, Miss Fabulous is in the building. Thomas Berry, y'all all know him, and Walter Q. Banks. Thank you guys for joining us. Any announcements? We got anything going on coming up?
I got something coming up.
Okay.
On the 14th, next Friday, we're doing a rally at the state capitol. So everybody's welcome to come out. Black Family Day of Action.
Okay.
Black Family Day of Action? Times.
Oh, from 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m.
And also don't forget about Juneteenth on Saturday, June the 15th. And it's going to be at Bethune and Phyllis Wheatley. They both are the same place with the same address, for those of you who don't know.
And that's going to be fun.
And it's going to be from 11 o'clock until probably about 6 in the evening.
I'm going to be there until 8 p.m. because, you know, I love Juneteenth.
Yeah. Music, fun, food, everything. So, all right, y'all. This, I must say that this was the most... Every topic that we have ever had, I have no problem with going head on with it and facing it. But this topic right here, I was stressing because first of all, I did not want to talk about it because I know it's opinions and you got friendships, you got sisterhood, and then, you know, we don't want nobody's toes to get stepped on.
Right.
Speaking of how we came up with this topic. So we did our research. We are all respectful of everybody's opinions. We definitely got to bring Walter Q. Banks old school up to what this topic is about.
Yeah, because they mentioned a word that I know nothing of.
Right. And so,
but I'm finding out today, and that's okay.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to kind of catch them up to speed. We will try to shoot for the hour or so, but if we go over and then if there's still some stuff left, we'll go to part 2. So, recapping of last Thursday, we'll let Amika take the floor.
No, we had let Thomas take the floor because I don't know what we were talking about at the end. And you said something that was like, oh, narcissist. And then you wanted to kill me, but I was just like, I said that loud?
I was just chilling, man. I wasn't really saying
No,
anything.
we were talking about something.
I think we were talking about... It wasn't me. We were like talking. I think you called me a narcissist because you said that I can convince people or something. It was crazy, man. I don't know.
But then you said, what was the thing about you said that you are a narcissist and the husband is what?
Oh, I'm a narcissist, but a white husband is the lover.
Ooh.
And I was trying to figure out
What'd you just say?
He said that your white husband is the lover.
Why would you say
And
that?
the reason why I would say that is because narcissism originally was intended for white-collared white men. That's who they made the diagnosis for. And when we talk about these diagnoses and we say these things to each other, we need to first figure out who were they prescribed for originally. And secondly, we need to ask ourselves why are we calling each other these words when we don't fully understand.
Tiffany, where'd you say that you narcissist came from?
I gotta look it up. But we can look it up.
You was just telling
Yeah,
me.
it was something that the word narc came from. It said something about a guy was looking in the river or something, or looking in the lake, and he said that, I don't know, I got the notes. It's in my phone. But my phone is dead.
But it's a clinical term, and they come up with these terms all of the time. So, but we have to be careful when we start prescribing them to each other because we don't necessarily know where the history of it. Sort of like the word delirious or hysterical. You know, look up, you know, and here's another one for drapetomania. That was the mental illness that African Americans who escaped from the plantation suffered from because they wanted to escape the plantation. We don't necessarily always study mental illness or the labels. We just tend to repeat them. And that goes for a pathology of us wanting to assimilate into the greater culture. So when you said that, I was like, wow, that's interesting. It wasn't the first time I've heard it, but I was shocked that you said it. And I was like, she's so nice. She always called her husband a lover. Then you called her brother the narcissist. I'm like, why into this system? I know we joke, but what did I do to say I was a narcissist?
It was something that rubbed me wrong.
I think the way you wording it is unfair to her. Just because if her husband was a brother and she said he was a lover and called you a narcissist, would it be a different? Or is it because he's not a brother?
It would be different.
And because he more so about the black power kind of thing.
I think that's unfair to her because just because her husband is not a brother, that doesn't mean she thinks that all white men are lovers and all brothers are narcissists like that. My husband is a brother and I think he's a lover, but I also know black men that I feel are maybe narcissistic, maybe a sociopath, maybe this. It has nothing to do with color. It's about how you behave. And
but then listening to it, and because like I said, I know zero about the word. But then to hear him explain what it means or what his perception of it, and everybody has their different perception of the word itself. Okay. And with him explaining it, I understand his saying what he's saying because of the different race and color and the perspective of what it came from.
Because we were lynched. But hold on. Because that also comes with the idea of uppity, arrogant, boastful. That's what those mean. We were lynched because they thought we were arrogant. Or they would have called us narcissistic, right? That was why black people were lynched. Oh, you were arrogant because you painted your house blue because every other house on the block was white. So we have to be careful when we start saying certain labels. That's why I won't say certain labels to us because it's a historical context. So it does matter by race because there's history attached to those words. Those words didn't just start today. Their roots to those words is the reason why those words are started. If you don't know the etymology of the words, you shouldn't probably be using the words. Now, you talking about fairness. I didn't call my sister out a name. I was just being cool.
I never said that.
So if the reason why I said what I said was I was shocked by the fact that she called me that. I was like, wow. And it was at the end. And I was like, but she stood on it like, yeah, you're a narcissist. I was like, okay, she meant it. So it's not about being unfair, and it's not even like a dig at her husband because I don't know him. He could be a swell guy. He could actually be the lover.
He is a swell guy.
But I'm saying at the end of the day, I know Thomas Berry is not a narcissist because at the end of the day, I can care less about controlling what other people think. That's just not who I am.
And speaking of that, so I'm gonna tell you guys what the definition of narcissism is. It's a false reality that a person who has an excessive interest in or admiration to themselves. And there's different signs. So actually it's a personality disorder. That's what they say as the clinical thing. So you got that, Q-Bear?
Personality disorder.
No, but it's a person who has an excessive interest or admiration of themselves.
Okay.
So, you got that?
Got it.
And did you also read that they removed it out of the DSM?
No, I didn't see that part.
They removed it out of the DSM, I want to say 7 years ago, because of the invention of social media. And they started saying that narcissism started to become pretty much a normal trait amongst people because everybody kind of posts online, get their likes, and what have you. So that's why they moved them out of DSM. So it's no longer a disorder because they're saying that it's pretty common.
Okay, so we got a couple of traits that would tell if you're because there is also a percentage of that, and I have something for that. I'm gonna go back to that. But here are some traits. There are shamelessness. They have magical thinking, arrogance, envy. They are very exploitation. They exploit people. And so this the thing that you was just talking about. It said 1% of general population was considered to be narcissistic, but you said they took it off of social media. And I was like, when you said that before, I was like, I don't know, because when some people post, are they really post? They're posting, but they're not their true selves in reality. So that's why I didn't know how those two would. Because if you posting what you really believe, some people post to push themselves to become that, or post themselves to, like today, for instance, like my daughter had an accident. I said I'm thankful. I put everything out there, but I just was waiting until to see when she got back from the hospital. But I didn't put the whole thing about it. But then as a narcissist, they really post and believe what they're posting.
No, I'm gonna have to disagree with that. I feel like when it comes to social media, everything we post, we do it for some kind of attention. Because if you weren't looking for the attention, why are you posting it? You could just keep it to yourself. Every picture, every time you comment, every time you write a status, is for whether you admit you're doing it for attention or not. Because you can, before social media, you just talk to your friends right here.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're putting out there for the world to see. So you're doing it for attention. That's all social media is, an attention bucket.
But I don't think that everybody posts the truth. That's the part of the
Whether you post the truth or not, it's still for attention. And some people don't live
for some people. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to set the rules at this table. We're going to make sure everybody have an opinion, and you got to be okay with it.
No, that's the thing.
Well, I'm just saying, because you be like, when you say something, you be like, it's that way. But it's opinion. But for me, I just think that most people, everybody don't post for that. Sometimes I post for encouraging words. Sometimes I post to, maybe to show off this thing or something. But it's not for, like, sometimes I don't post. Most of my posts are to encourage people to get out that funk. I think if I go over the percentage of my thing, like I try to get people to laugh, to be excited, to be happy, because I just remember those places. And what I use social media for, so people could have to see a life in a different perspective than what, that they see on a daily basis. Because if they see me laughing and having fun, like the people that know me, they know my life was could have been this way. So when I do it, but I do believe that people do get on there and post for attention. But I know my thing is to help somebody.
Well, there's a lot of people that post on my way to the hospital. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. You're like, go. How did I know? We don't need to know that.
Well, they're chasing the dopamine high. So that's the flaw with social media. The color scheme and everything is for you to have a dopamine effect. So you're chasing that high. So we're really pretty much, we got this chemical that's triggered in our brain every time someone likes your post, or comments on your post, or respond to your comment, or what have you. So if you look up the word dopamine for you out there, you can see that that's what's triggered with social media. People are really chasing a high. And this is why the people who helped start Facebook are asking for the government to do some type of regulations, because they're saying that people are getting high, don't even know they're getting high, don't even know that they're chasing the high. So you're doing more and more for attention. So what she's saying is right. When you post, you are looking for some type of gratification, because it gratifies the brain. It's the kudo effects. You keep getting these kudos, or even if someone even argues with you sometimes, you're getting attention. And a lot of people right now in this country, we talked about this last week a little bit, people are alone. We have all these social media devices, we have all this interaction, but nothing beats the real thing. Nothing beats face-to-face interaction. Nothing beats talking to a person face-to-face, a phone call, a letter written versus a quick, inbox or what have you. Nothing beats the real thing. So we're all chasing that high. Now, we all got it for free, right? It's all attached to most people's phones. People get the notifications, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, your email, or your text, right? All of those things, you can look it up, triggers your dopamine high.
I don't know. Do that work? Do y'all? Or maybe, like she said earlier, that some people don't even pay attention to it to even know.
I need to be like you, but he don't care about none of that.
Remember when you said that earlier, like some people don't pay attention to it to even know if that's the effect. Because I don't know. And I find myself, always like, if I can't just sit myself down and just not do nothing without picking up my phone. Like I'm literally making myself like, don't pick up that phone when you get up. Mm-hmm. Like you got, thank God. Like that's crazy. When I found out like I would get up and grab the phone before, I'm like, thank God for waking me up. I was like, no, something got to change with this. But
no, I like YouTube. I don't care.
But it's still all the stuff like that. I don't know.
See, now I'm gonna be the farthest from the street from where y'all at, so I'm from a different block. And it's like, when you talk about the social media side and that kind of thing, and waking up in the morning and compared to thanking God compared to grabbing the phone. There's a lot of people that grab their phone just to see what happened the night before. But then why is it that you grab that phone, and I don't mean the phone, I'm talking about for the Facebook side, that's why they're grabbing the phone. But that Facebook thing is the first thing that gets their day started. They want to see what socially is happening here, there, and everywhere before they do anything.
Yeah, okay.
But then, and I'm not a social Facebook person or none of that, but then you look at, people do the thing, because I just recently found out what Pope means. And I'm just telling y'all.
You just recently found out what means?
Pope.
Can you explain that? Like when they poke? Can somebody explain
that? One of y'all want to tell me?
You know, somebody poke you on Facebook.
I mean, I've seen it, but I don't understand what it means.
And see, that's what I'm saying. But what do y'all
trying to get your attention?
Oh,
like,
so that you can like say hi.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I ignore all those.
You know? but then you look at a lot of people. You know, like if your picture's on your phone, on your Facebook page, and then a lot of guys want to poke you. Now, my definition of poking back in the day is way different from somebody picking up a phone and saying, "Hey," you know, with a tap on the thing, call me back. And then you're talking about getting on your DMs. Was a direct message. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather you just find out what my phone number is or ask me for it, and I'll give it to you, and we can have a conversation. You know, but there's that social side, but it also keeps you away from actually making contact within a relationship.
Well, sometimes people like it that way.
And I agree. But then my thing is from the pokes and from the wanting to this, that, and whatever, what's the real percentage of them really, because the attention side that you guys were speaking about is what's the real percentage of, you know, when you make a statement about something and then all of a sudden you're getting that attention because everybody gave you a poke or everybody gave you a...
But most of us, well, I don't say most of it, I can only speak from my point of view. None of that is really, I mean, it's all surface stuff. I could care less what you mean when you poke. I could care less if you really tell the truth on social media. I could care less if you like my stuff. I don't care. Now, because you don't use social media, as a person, that's how we're gonna contact you, is on your phone and talk to you.
Right.
So it's not like we're not gonna talk to you because you're on social media. But sometimes there are meaningful conversations that you can have on social media, and sometimes it's just for play. It's all for entertainment purposes anyway.
Yeah.
And entertainment is supposed to be just that, entertainment. We make it to more. And it has taken a place of a lot of communication things, but some people rather communicate that way. Like some people, I would rather for you to text me than call me.
But then that could be, anyway. But that could be somebody that you really don't want to talk to.
Right.
But then also to go to the next extent, if you really don't want to talk to somebody, discontinue their number. You see their number, then you have the option of choice. No. Because you may want to talk to them today because they okay today. But then tomorrow you be like disliking them because of something that they said. Now it's like, because this is the biggest part with relationships. It's starting something that you really don't plan on finishing.
Now, if you're a narcissist, you really ain't gonna operate well in relationships anyway. Cause
hold on.
Wait a minute. Wait. And being that he said that, I want you to tell your story about who and your position in narcissism.
I am great for relationships. I don't understand where you feel that because I'm narcissistic.
I don't believe you're a narcissist though. Not on that high scale.
No, wait. If you think about it on a scale, when you put on a scale 1 to 10, I probably fall right in the middle, about a 5. You know, I do have some of the traits that they consider this as narcissistic. I know that. I claim it. That's my hashtag narcissistic. Hashtag diagnosed. I don't have a problem with that. But when it comes to relationships, I am good in relationships.
Right. So,
I just had a 20-year wedding anniversary yesterday.
So what's your definition of a narcissist?
I do know that I lack empathy in a lot of things in people. I just don't care. I do know that I do think that people are just envious of me. I do think that I'm special.
I don't think nobody's jealous of me. I don't think about even jealous.
And speaking of, I want everybody for you to tell everybody that you said that you diagnosed.
Hey, a woman told me I was fine yesterday. I told her I was looking. I look how crazy that is. But I'm narcissist. All right, cool.
But no, Tamiko said she's diagnosed.
Really?
I am. I've been diagnosed by my therapist. Whether people believe in the diagnosis or where it came from or whatever. Whatever the list of what they say, I fit most of the list.
Because then you said from where it came from or for whatever, and my question to you is what from your growing up and from your being that you elevated to a narcissist?
I think I've been like this my whole life though.
Okay.
When I first found out that I had
let's go back to what made you think that you was a narcissist.
No.
She said from like birth. That's how she is.
What happened was when I had my daughter, I had postpartum depression, so I went to a therapist.
Okay.
And so, in talking to my therapist, 3-6 months, whatever, they give you what they feel is your diagnosis, right? And so you talk about your life, everything, not just your postpartum depression, but how you get there, how you grew up, and everything. And so when she told me this, I went home and studied it, because at first I was like, I'm not narcissistic, she's just crazy. I went home and studied it, and I looked over it. The things that she told me that I was afraid to look at myself, and I went and looked at them. I fit this profile. I do. I've been arrogant my whole life. Yeah. I'm the pretty friend. I ain't saying they ugly. I'm just saying I'm the pretty friend.
So now, would you label the word as because sometimes you could take words and put them into play, but it's really something else. Because you could say that you're arrogant, but how come you can't say you're just convinced?
What we call conceited.
Right. I am conceited. I'm stuck up. I'm conceited. I'm arrogant. I'm all those things.
You bougie?
A little bit. I am. A lot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, because I know who I am and I live my truth, when people say these things about me, it doesn't bother me at all because I know who I am, and I have got to a point in my life where I don't just lash out when people say stuff. I actually sit and think about it, like, because you're allowed to think about me whatever you want to think about me, and I'm allowed not to care.
So how do y'all all feel about that when it said? So I'm gonna ask everybody, like, how do y'all feel about that when she say that? Because I've been knowing her now, because I can deal with her. That's my girl. But how do y'all feel when it's like when they say it's a false reality?
I think what she's saying, you know what, I want to say this about her. I was just talking with her about the relationship because I met her at the relationship counseling thing, and she was giving some cool advice in my opinion.
I appreciate that.
I think the thing I respect about her is that she's honest about what she's thinking. So I don't necessarily would call her a narcissist. For me, I just feel like she's an honest person, and she has what we call confidence. In a state. What was Joe? Look at you. You
got it all choked up.
But
everything you do.
But in a state where sometimes us being who we are is looked down upon. It's rare that some of us are confident. So when we see confident people, they stick out. Now, I don't know if you lack empathy, but maybe you're just more a little bit, but not all the time.
Well, it's situational.
It's situational, and I can see that as well. But I agree with what Cuba is saying. It all depends on who's doing the defining.
That's true. I agree with that.
That's the number one thing, because you know what, Nicole Pacini yesterday, she got on there. She actually is not on here right now, but she did say many people won't say it that they are narcissistic.
Well, because it's frowned upon. When somebody said it's like, oh, because you say that, now you're toxic. Nobody wants to deal with you.
It's scary though.
It is scary.
It's very scary, but you have to realize there's levels to everything. There's levels to, and some people if we want to take the level, the actual narcissist off, there's just toxic people. Period. There's semi-toxic people, and there's some people just extra.
But we got to be fair with the toxic level too.
Yeah.
Because what's toxic for you may not be toxic for the next person.
Right.
And sometimes what we do is we label everybody as good or bad, and really collectively that's how we've been done throughout the history. If you're either all good or you're all bad, and that's not necessarily how life goes. It's somewhere in the middle. Sometimes you may be a toxic person, but at other times you might be a great person.
Right.
And most people that come into your life that you're screaming about they were toxic, they were good for you at one point. You just forgot about all that once the bad came in.
I agree, because and so it depends on who you're talking to. Like you said, somebody may say this person is toxic, but I might mean them, they may not be toxic to me. Sometimes energies just don't match, and because of that, we label people toxic.
And she got on sundress, so she might be a good person. Yeah, people got on sundresses in the sun.
Stand the sun out.
Yeah, so, and I understand I have been toxic to some people, and some people I'm not. It just depends on, maybe our energies don't match, and I'm okay with that. So, like, a lot of people who know me, they'll say, I don't believe you're a narcissist, but then there's other people that come in and be like, yes, she is. And so it's all situational.
I know. And
about what he said, when it
hasn't changed.
Yeah, when it comes to being confident, most of us are not. And so when somebody comes in confident and you're around people that's not, they're going to label you anyway.
And so you can technically be misdiagnosed and not know it.
Miss?
No. Well, diagnosed. And the thing is that's still fine and dandy. Whomever you are and however you are and wherever you be, and that goes for everybody at this table. You are who you are, and however you grew up and whatever situations in your past creates who you are. So now some people may accept you for who you are, and some people may not. But then on the convinced side that I'm talking about is I could care less if you like me or dislike me, and that's why I understand what you're saying from that side of it.
Yes.
But I wouldn't necessarily say that makes you a narcissist
Yeah.
That would just make that would be more that you are who you are and you believe. You can look in the mirror and say, I like me.
Yeah. But we're okay. We're friends.
Yeah.
You have to talk to people who not okay with me.
But those people, their opinions don't matter.
Yeah.
Their opinions don't matter, but still, it's still there. It's still there.
Yeah.
Like I said, I could really care less how people. I know people say that, but I really could care less.
And that doesn't make you a bad person.
No,
but looking at the word narcissist, they would automatically say that that's something that's bad, that's evil.
Yes.
It's a negative stigma about that word.
Even when Tim put it out there, people were like, if you're a narcissist, don't get close to me. And I was like, that's interesting because I meet these characteristics and I'm friends with all these people who said that. So clearly there's different steps.
I saw that.
There's different steps.
I was so nervous about this. I was like, oh my God. When I saw that, I'm like, oh my God. You know, I'm always worried about people's feelings and stuff, but then I had to understand. Like,
can I ask y'all a question though about the people that said that? Let me ask y'all this question though. Because you studied the traits. Being around those people, have you not seen some of those same traits in them as well?
I really don't pay attention.
Okay, but I'm saying, how about you? have you seen some of those traits in those people as well?
You know what? I'm gonna plead the fifth.
Birds of a feather flock together, because that list that you were reading, there's a lot of people I think that are like that on that list.
I'm sure.
Because even when I was doing the ones, and even when we started talking about the different, because she was the one that told me about the 4 levels. I had no idea, because when we were studying, she actually inboxed me and would like to let me know more so about it. And when I was doing the different levels, I'm like, dang, I'll be doing this, I'll be doing that, I'll be doing this. And I'm like, so is it really like, I mean, I wouldn't go get diagnosed, but I know I have something of those things up in me. So,
how about you? So,
speaking of that,
I think we all got some of that. I mean, I think we all would have some of that.
Speaking of, we gonna see if you yay or nay. We got 4 types of narcissists.
Yay, nay, yay.
Classic. So the classic one was the one that Tamiko said that she is diagnosed with. So these are some of the traits, just per what the study.
Some. I don't meet them all. Let's put that out.
So she gonna agree to you. She gonna let y'all know which one.
Let's put that out.
She has adorning followers.
I might.
This is for the classic. So y'all get y'all paperwork out so y'all know who y'all messing with. Psychologically dependent. So I guess they were saying like you depend on your own psyche. Like you don't depend on nobody else's psyche to... This is just a class. I'm not just gonna pinpoint you. I'm just saying what it is.
Yeah,
Hanger on. So she she or he keeps a lot of people at their beck and call. But you know, and I was reading this like, how do you feel when you somebody's friend? You see this and like, oh wait a minute, hold on now.
But now let me add to that though. No, because that's one of the segments you're saying about a beck and call. And this is the thing about relationships, is that if you are the dominant one and the other person's the subservient one, then
it works.
Then if it works for you, then it's okay.
That's right. Yeah.
Because everybody's situation is different. But now, if you're one of those that it doesn't matter what your significant other thinks about you and you could care less, then that's kind of like bad for that relationship in the long run, because then all you really doing, whether you what's the word?
What? Hanger on?
No, the
narcissist.
Yes, whether you are or not, you're just taking advantage of that person because that person may really like you, love you, or care about you, but you don't give a good one about them.
At all.
That's just the balance of relationships.
And most people who I see labeling other people as narcissists are the narcissistic people. I rarely see people label other people as narcissists and be 100% on.
Well,
I mean, like I'm pretty sure you probably, like you said, you don't care to say it, but like me personally, I don't. You're saying you're one, but I've never really can honestly say that I felt like I met one. I mean, I met you one time. I'm hearing what you're saying. You're the classic narcissist, right? And I'm saying,
who a classic?
No, you said it was classic.
We talking about the classic one right now.
It's the classic one, so it sounds like it's more common, right? But if you look at the traits that you're saying, hanger-ons, or people following you. I mean, we got social media where people got followers. So of course you would have people following you.
And plus, if you have leadership skills, people are going to follow you.
And you're going to have hanger-ons that's going to be hanging on to you if you lead. Right? Now here's the other thing too about this. most of the people that you can go through all 4 scales, all those people, there's a lot of successful people that fit those scales. There's a lot of people that people envy that fits those scales. So when we talk about strong, leading, smart, intelligent, beautiful, popular, confident, those are the people that will fit that scale.
Wait a minute, I can just fit. What do you want to say?
I'm listening.
You listening?
Mm-hmm.
That ain't fair. Right, she ain't saying
no, I want to hear the other ones to see if I really fit in one of those categories or am I just normal?
The fact that you think you're normal, that's a
they have no eternal psychological conscience. They're cruel. They are considered cruel, cold human beings. That's a classic. And they choose partners they can control and dominate. They choose only who can live for their ego supplies. They get a kick out of running circles around people. And then the note was to maintain distance, especially in your personal life. Keep it short and detached. That's for a classic narcissist.
That I definitely agree with. Keep it on a short. Don't get attached to.
No, I'm saying not to get attached to a classic narcissist.
And we feel the same way. Don't get attached to
See?
other people.
Poor Mika. Mika, this is an open forum. You can say what you want to say. Right. So they are obsessed with being in control, the lack of empathy, lack of accountability. So the second one was a vulnerable narcissist. They are masked by helplessness, emotionally and highly sensitive people to the extreme level.
Not me, but I know a couple of people.
Wait a minute, then it said the life of the party. I'm like, okay.
How you vulnerable? Are you the life of the party?
That's what it said. It said a vulnerable, not
that's the person.
Only their feelings have significance or importance. Look, only their feelings have significance or importance, not others. Make it all about them.
Oh, I know somebody like that too. Hope you watch it.
Like to be considered a perfectionist. Like to be considered a perfectionist. I'm like, whoa.
Oh, I definitely know.
In the area of their specialty, and everyone believes it and see them that way. I was like, oh, that's me right there. Up and down emotionally.
Not me.
Always right.
Not me.
Play victim to justify.
What was that before? Always right?
Always right.
That's not you?
I reserve the right to be wrong. I'm good with being wrong. That's the only way you'll learn if you're wrong.
Okay.
And they say play victim to justify actions. I know behind this is gonna be like, but he did though. Everyone is out to get them because they're better than them.
That might be me.
Always somebody else's fault. And they have a passive aggressive behavior.
Yeah, I'm just aggressive.
Ignore a person as punishment for not doing what they're told.
What? One more time?
They have passive aggressive behavior, like they would ignore a person as a punishment for not doing what they've been told. I'm like, ooh, that's
a lot of women, but I ain't gonna even put them out like that.
In an intimate relationship.
Hold on. Time out. And say that again, please.
That's a lot of women.
Right.
I told you I rock with you.
Okay, we going on.
Come on.
They try and feel new and exciting relationships. They have a chronic feelings of emptiness, so they always try to do new and exciting relationships. I'm like,
they get bored easily.
Look, a fantasy person is non-existent. Wait a minute, go another one. Shadow apologies to get what they want.
Ooh! Oh my goodness. Hey, I hope you are watching that. I know that person.
Man, you just said we ain't gonna diagnose on here.
I ain't diagnosed that person's name, but I know that person.
And look what it said about that though. It says do better with an online relationship than face to face.
Ooh. I know
condescending, bored, and judgmental around others, and inattentive.
I know that person.
Okay, so we got the malignant, which is a mental. They call that one a mental disorder, and that's with the toxic one. It's a social personality disorder, and it's they are intelligent. This is why she called you that. I'll tell you, intelligent, you high functioning, soft spoken, charming, caring, emotional, gracious, well mannered, kind, and have ability to form relationships.
Is she pointing a
At the first glance, you seem appealing. However, with the combo of subtle paranoia, lack of conscience, and sadism, they are scary, dangerous, and ruthless.
Not at all.
Sense of entitlement, not at all. Lack of conscience and empathy.
Not at all.
And you enjoy to see others suffer.
Wait a minute. It's interesting when you was going through that list, all the ones that you was putting.
I checked mine.
You didn't say.
Right, but I checked mine. But I was thinking, but you know what? When I read that, we were trying to figure out, like, okay, we wanted to know, Amika could say, now that you know the different levels, and there's many more for the toxic one, why would you, when you said narcissist, about him?
Because he was just too confident and cocky, and the way he comes off all nice, like he's the perfect guy, that really, I'm like, guy.
So once again, this goes back to the idea of I was cocky and confident, which means that I have confidence in myself. I come off as the perfect guy, when at the end of the day, I've never said I was the perfect guy.
Well, it's not your perception of yourself.
But I get that. But people perceive a polar bear as being white, and it's not. So your perception can be wrong all day long. And we live in a world where people believe their perception is the next person's reality. Now, it's an old saying that the lie travels the world 10 times before the truth get out of bed. But if you lie on me, I'm going to get up out of bed first to beat you around the world. That's my reality. So I agree with a lot of what it was saying on the good parts, but here's the thing. I worked in classrooms with students, families couldn't afford birthday parties, and I provided those birthday parties. I've done a lot of social work around the community, giving my time and my effort, and I'm always fighting for just cause, and I have a lot of empathy and sympathy for people. I love my people. So when I speak from a place of confidence, because I know I'm standing on shoulders of people who died for me to be in this space, and they wouldn't want me to cower or look down. So I was raised to look a man in the eye, to speak with confidence, hold my head high, and never let you see me sweat. So excuse me for being raised that way. Now, it's crazy. I listened to what you said at first with the last diagnosis when she said there's a lot of women who are that way. But I'm going to go back to what I said again. We got a lot of our people, and you can go look at the book of lynchings that were lynched because they were considered to be all those things that you just read off because somebody else had that perception. So once again, perceptions can be deadly. I appreciate her opinion because I think she's a very intelligent woman. I think she's a very caring woman, but I don't think that she is necessarily correct about me in those regards.
But remember I said I don't know you well enough, and I said it just slipped out. I was thinking it just slipped out. When I said I'm like, why did I say that?
I think when men are cocky and confident and like that, they always get the bad rap. Like for some reason, women don't like cocky men, which I don't understand at all. But as an individual, period, when you're cocky or confident or you know what people call conceited, stuck up, whatever, people always look down on you like it's a bad thing. But it's not a bad thing because people are like that are actually living their true selves. If people really love themselves and was true to themselves, everybody would be confident and cocky. But we're not. And so what happens is when you get in a space with people like that, and I'm not pointing any finger, but when you get into a space with people like that, there's always the ones who have something that they're not confident about themselves or they're afraid to say, that will say, that person is too much, that person is too cocky, and this, that, and the other. And which is unfair to them, but your perception is your perception. We cannot, people who are confident, we cannot dictate how you perceive us. It's just how it is.
So Terrence left something. It says, it's a personality disorder, a mental condition, basically sense of their own importance, of the need for excessive attention, but behind it all is extreme confidence, wise, fragile, self-esteem, vulnerable, which starts in early childhood and early adulthood. They can make you feel so good, I don't even give a fuck about you if you're not doing for them. Once they supply die down, they're gone. But meanwhile, while I have you, they are still looking and talking and doing other things just in case that time come, they can keep it moving. They really don't care about you, but they act like they do. They have a master personality that makes you feel good and draw you right into their never right into them, and they could never do a relationship.
Clearly,
God damn.
clearly she's been hurt before.
No, this is a boy. I mean,
well, clearly they've been hurt before.
And I was in a 22-year relationship, so I know I can have a relationship. And I've never been in a serious relationship shorter than 2 years. So yeah, that doesn't fit me whatsoever.
I agree with what she said though. I've been there.
Well, I don't agree at all because, like this Mr. Berry said, just because a person is toxic for you doesn't mean they're toxic for the next person.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure before I was with the husband, I was toxic to everybody before him. Every single body before him. But I'm not toxic to him.
What's your zodiac?
I'm Aquarius.
And I'm Aquarius too.
And
see, that's the problem.
I'm Aquarius too, and I'm.
So here's the thing.
Not like you guys. Not like
y'all. So should I be Aquarius?
And that's true, but for the most part, if you look at what your zodiac means, it says that about us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're very heady, smart, intelligence. We think with logic more so than our heart.
But I don't put mine out there like that.
You might not put yourself, but our line of work, we have to put ours out there like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm all that, but I would never let.
You're more reserved.
I'm more reserved, exactly.
And like that's due to all of some of our experiences, right? So here's the thing: you may say that about myself and about her, right? But then what would you have? Malcolm X was a confident man. What would you be without Malcolm speaking the way that he did? Most Baptist preachers are confident
and cocky.
And cocky. Right? So a lot of our leadership comes from that personality where they're strong, they're confident, they're bold, they have no fear. So when we talk from a place of no fear. Now that's also what you're taught if you're a believer as well. If you feel like you got God in you, what are you scared of?
I'm not scared of anything, and I'm very confident in what I do and how I do things. I'm just reserved with the things that I do. People latch on to me, and I don't like it.
Okay.
I don't like Klingons. I want you to be your own self. I want you to do your own thing. Don't cling on to me. I don't like Klingons.
But
I don't want it. I don't want it.
And see, I'm always amazed that people say that other people are a certain way. I feel like there's no right or wrong way to be. No. I think we just need to learn how to accept people for who they are. Even when we say somebody is toxic means too much.
That was something important that she said. She said she may have been toxic, but she's not toxic for her husband.
Yeah. And I know that I'm a lot. And I may be too much for other people, but if I'm too much for you, then you're not my people.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. Just because your cup is little don't mean mine little. Because I'm just enough. And if you feel like my just enough is too much, then you're not my people.
That's pretty much how it rolls. I mean, I would.
That is some high confidence, because I mean.
Yeah.
I'll be like, because when I be thinking of it, I'll be like, because when I was thinking of it, the first thing that I did, because I was honest, I was like, this is some deep demonic kind of stuff. Like, I thought, for real, when I was looking at the narcissism stuff, I'm like, for people not to even talk about it, I think Tamiko was the first person that, like, openly talked about it. Nobody I have ever known has talked about it. Like, they won't say it. And then when I seen the reaction, so when she said it to you, I was like, did she scratch something, like the way he was just like ready to attack it? But then I was married to one. Now let me go back to that, because I remember one time I told him that. And I was like, this when I was first noticing just the little things. Before it got to be as huge as it is now, people used to just throw out little subliminals about narcissism. But then I remember I said that to him, and he got like freaking mad about it. Because I'm like, he was doing a lot of the stuff of the malignant narcissistic person. So that's the toxic person. But and when I was studying, I was just like, but I guess it's come to that maturity part when you have to accept things for, like she said, if you have a confidence level, that is what it is. You know what I'm saying? When you get older, you have choices. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And if you say this is what it is, it's for other people, and I don't think it's because they lack of confidence. It's just like, wow, like, because we have never heard anybody just be up front like it. I am.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Part of that is because most of the time when a person gets a diagnosis, it's always seen as a bad. Now something is wrong with you. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're narcissistic. You're bipolar. Now something is wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with me.
And that was the thing that I was saying in the
beginning. No longer the DSM.
It's the definition. Right. It's the definition of the word and how you define it.
It's how you define it.
Because when you call somebody that, or they claim to be that could be negative or positive, right, depending on how it's presented.
Right, but most of the time it's a negative, because when you get mad, you see stuff, oh, you're narcissistic. But there's nothing wrong. Just because somebody displays these narcissistic behaviors to you, that doesn't mean that they're going to display these same narcissistic behaviors in their next relationship. They may be more compatible.
Say that one more time. Just please say that one more time. I say every day there's nothing wrong with me.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with you. None of us are, whatever normal is, none of us are normal. There's no such thing as a normal person. So there's nothing.
Hold on. What would make you think? So my thing is this. I think this is what she.
Wait. What'd you say?
She said nothing wrong with her.
But I'm trying to figure out.
Nothing wrong with me.
Yeah, like.
I love me. I love me. When I say my confidence is there, it's there. I just don't. Like she said, my sister knows me. I'm very, very reserved. I don't put it out there like that. But all day long, ain't nothing wrong with me.
But I don't think, so me personally, I wouldn't even think that there was.
So you 3 is Aquarius. Okay,
But at the end of the day, I think
3 Aquarius.
I think that we have to be careful with the labels, and I'm gonna go back to this again.
Yeah.
You know, when a black man was lynched because he painted his house blue, and every other house on the block was white, they called him an uppity Negro. Mm-hmm. He was arrogant because didn't he see the rest of the houses was white? Mm-hmm. It was his house. So we have to be careful with these labels. And where do we get these labels from? You know, you got to remember that these words are rooted in racism. So you have to be careful on how you wield those words.
Where did this word even come from? Where did it start?
I mean, because 20 years ago, wasn't nobody calling nobody a narcissist.
What people weren't as bad as it was.
They weren't happy.
It wasn't as bad. So we got Pebble. She said all people have different personalities. Anita Banks says, in this time and day and age, you meet all kinds of people. If the person isn't what you're looking for, keep stepping. Mm-hmm. Time is waiting on no one. Stop judging so much.
Yeah.
Now, that was my little sister, for real.
That's your little sister?
Anita Banks.
Yeah,
crazy.
And let me tell you about Anita. Anita is my baby sister, but I look up to her more than any other female that I know that's living right now.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up. Mm-hmm.
But that's my baby sister.
Yeah, she said it right.
Yeah, people should start judging, but we're not.
Okay.
So do you think it's judging if you say it's crazy?
Yes, because at the end
that's an opinion.
Yeah, but if you make an
opinion and judgment is a thin line.
Because if you're confident in somebody, if somebody give an opinion, you don't care. Because I get a lot of opinions.
And then sometimes the opinion and sometimes the judgment is true, but it's still a judgment.
You think an opinion is a judgment? That's
it can be.
I think if you got I think you can also have the wrong opinion about people.
How could you have a wrong opinion when it's your opinion?
Because
that's great.
Okay,
yeah,
I'll give you a prime example.
Ooh, he remind me of my husband.
You can have a wrong perception.
No, he's right in what he said.
Talk out the casket.
No,
because
I got something to say about
because I've judged people wrongly before, but without knowing them. And then you change your opinion on those people after you get to know them.
But at that point, your opinion is correct because you
when
you have an opinion about a person.
Your opinion.
Because this is called the four opinions. So we're not saying that we're correct. It's just how we feel about it.
No, your opinion.
Right. No, we never said it was right. We just said.
Okay.
But
go ahead, Walter.
But you can have an opinion. Like when you first meet a person, you got an opinion of them, and then when I get to know you, my opinion may change, or I might be like, you know what? She was dusty from day one. Who knows? You know, so your opinion.
But your opinion. But let me give you, because you gave different signs of an opinion of one individual, right? That one individual that you gave an opinion on, you could be right or you could be wrong.
That's why it's an opinion.
But it's still your opinion.
It's still yours.
But then at the same time, if you make an opinion about me and you are wrong, you're still right to you.
Right. And
but for the perception of it, and for those that know, would know that you're wrong all day.
But no, just because.
So most of the time,
when you have an opinion about people, sometimes you don't even tell nobody.
Yeah, but your opinion is that thin line, like you said. It's a thin line.
It's bothering me to death. Okay. So if you feel so you, all right, I'm gonna just go back. So if you said that.
You need a highlighter.
I know. I just know. It's not a lot because it's like when you say like when a person says there is nothing wrong with running circles around people. So is that no? That's like if it's a classic person. I'm just using an example because you're right here. But so if you be like, so you have somebody like. So in your mind, I'm just trying to understand the mind of a narcissist. It's like that is okay to run circles around people. Because when you get diagnosis and when you go get therapy, like, what is you trying? Are you trying to fix the narcissism? The narcissism?
I mean, you can try to fix it, but we are who we are. Nobody can help you fix you. That's got to be something you want to do if you need to be fixed.
Right.
I don't feel like I need to be fixed. I played mind games around circle and manipulating people? Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. I have.
And
for years.
So has people who will consider.
Right, I know everybody
knows. People are not going to admit it. That's the difference. People not when a person is a manipulator.
Sound like the narcissists are the more honest people.
When a person is a manipulator, or a person when a person is a manipulator, or they play mind games, or run circles, or however you want to say it, nobody's going to admit they did that.
Right.
But someone will.
Someone will, but those are the ones that people diagnose.
It's narcissism.
Yeah.
It's narcissistic.
Because that's part of living your truth. Well, have I played mind games with people? Yes.
Because that was the thing when I was reading this stuff, that was the thing about it. That's when I said, that's when I stopped studying about it.
If your self-esteem is low and you're weak-minded, I will manipulate you.
Right. But then it's like, but you're saying that's okay. That's what I'm trying to figure out, like the diagnosis, like.
Do I think it's okay?
Yeah.
When I'm doing it, I don't think about it. It just is. That's your perception.
I don't believe on playing people like that.
Right. Do y'all see where I'm going with that? Like, I'm trying to get in it. Like, she just said, she was like, ain't nothing wrong with me. Or he said, ain't nothing wrong with me. And then be like.
Yeah,
but you have to be ready to say that something is wrong with you to get fixed.
But that's the problem. I don't feel like I need to be fixed.
Right.
That's what you keep saying.
Right. No, I'm asking. Not for you. No. I already know where you stand. I'm just saying when people like.
I don't feel like
I be trying to get in that mind, like, to walk around because it keep going back to, like, a false reality. Okay, that's like, for me, I'm guilty of looking at some girls, like, if they be on Facebook and they be, like, huge. And I'm not, no disrespect. I don't gain some weight getting to be a big girl. And they be, like, huge. I mean, 600-pound life. And they get on there like, yep, I'm popping. But then I'll be like, it'd be so overbearing of them popping when you know, like, they're close to, like, you know, cardiac or whatever. Like, that's not true. Like, no, I'm being for real. Like, even if I get on there, if I get on there and be saying some extra stuff, like, that's really not true because I need help in that area. I can't get up. But that's just my opinion. But listen, let me finish it. Okay. Mm-hmm. But let me finish it. But then it's like, when I look, okay, like Monique. All skinny bitch. Okay, that's a perfect thing. Not no other woman. Scratch the first part. Monique. All skinny bitches is the devil. Being big is whatever. Now that she's getting healthy and she can breathe, now it's all about being healthy. No, now it's all about being healthy. But she was so malicious when her upcoming career to be like being fat and unfit and all that stuff was the thing to be. So that's what I said. But listen, y'all, listen. Okay. So that's what I said about the false reality. Are you just tricking your mind to be like, this is okay because you hiding that hidden hurt or that hidden thing that you can't conquer or that hidden thing that you can't do to make it seem like you okay. You know what I mean?
But I know what you're saying. People.
But I don't
look at people like that. I don't judge them. I see people as people.
For me, I don't look that deep into stuff like that.
Yeah,
if you think you popping, then you popping. Mm-hmm. I don't have to think you popping. And that's your own confidence.
That's your own line of confidence within yourself.
That's the thing I be saying. Do people really like do that just to be like they hiding that certain thing?
I'm just trying to figure out. Here's my thing. This is what I have an issue with psychoanalysis and analyzing other people. First thing, who are you to analyze other people? Mm-hmm. It's a level of arrogance that you possess to be going around calling anybody anything other than their name. That's the first thing. Yeah. That's also, once again, assimilating into white culture because that's what they done to us at the beginning since we touched these shores. So you have to be careful. And the other thing, we're not talking about the people that got 1,000 pictures online naked, dancing all everywhere. I saw a video where a girl pulled down her pants, twerking in the middle of a busy avenue. Man walked by, then she jumps up. That's a person seeking attention, right? That's a person who has a self-importance to themselves, or people doing all kinds of other things to other people, lacking empathy or sympathy for the people or what they're doing, running games on people, ruining people's lives, ruining people's credit, to everything else. We got all kinds of other things that we could be diagnosing. I see Negroes online talking more about narcissism and toxic people than white supremacy, racism, things that are happening inside of their community. That's all foolishness. Now, let's be real. And do we have self-important or grandiose people? Yes, we all are in a sense. But at the end of the day, I believe everybody at this table, including Tamiko. She couldn't have been married. She couldn't have been married as long as she's been married, if she didn't care about her husband, if she didn't love her family. That shows you that she does have some kind of empathy or sympathy for the man that she loves. She might not have it for the person that she don't know, or even some of the people that she do know. But she has shown that she can do this for over 20 plus years. I wish some of these people who are making these labels. Now this is why I jumped when she said it. I study history. I teach history. So when I hear us label us anything and mislabel us, I know the ramifications that come with that. Now that's what I know, versus just because you said it about me. I thought it was funny. I joked with you afterwards. I even pulled up some things about narcissism because I know it didn't fit me. I just think that it's kind of crazy if you're confident and you're black.
I think we get misunderstood because the confidence. I think the confidence comes in when you're hurting other people.
But I don't have.
It's not being just confident, like it's not just but just because you're here. That's the only reason why we could just talk about your thing. But it's like the confidence. You can't be confident and then shitting on other people. Yeah, that's not confidence. That's you shitting on people, making yourself look confident because you put down somebody else.
But also sometimes.
You know what I'm saying?
But then you got to look at.
I'm just trying to figure
that
out
person,
that
particular person that you're talking about.
Yeah.
That person that you're talking about. What is their perception of themselves?
Right. That's what I was gonna say, because sometimes people assume that they're being shitted on and they're not, because they're not confident in who they are. If you walk into a room and confident and half the people in there are not, they're judging you walk in. She thinks she all that. You're this, that, and other, just because of what they feel about themselves. And it's interesting when you're confident or cocky or conceited or whatever, people always want to say, is your self-esteem really low under that? Like, is that a cover for your low self-esteem?
That was the thing.
Like, so why can't I just be confident? Why I always got to be hiding something because I'm confident?
Because you need to humble yourself.
Right.
Because, look down when they walk past you, look down and look them in the eye.
This is what's crazy, right?
Be humble.
When you're confident and cocky or whatever, people talk about you. But when you come in with low self-esteem, they be like, oh my God, you should think highly of yourself. Oh my God, you're so pretty. But once you say you're pretty, then it's an issue. I was just telling my daughter that, like, the thing is, you can be great, but you can't say you're great. Other people have to say you're great. So I teach her, tell people that you're great. Tell people you're amazing. If it bothers them, that's their issues, not yours. So when I come in and I'm confident about who I am, and other people feel like I'm dissing them, that's their insecurities, not mine. My insecurities is something totally different. It has nothing to do with my confidence.
I agree about my insecurities as well. Has nothing to do
with
my confidence.
And just like everybody else, I do have insecurities. But I play on my own insecurities. I wish I was a smaller size, but I'm gonna wear a bikini anyway because I'm confident in who I am. So, but
confidence and convinced.
Right. My confidence is not hiding my insecurities like that. That's just not what it is. But it's always something like, are you really insecure? That's why you act like that? Are you really insecure? That's why you all over the place? Yes.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's just funny, it's funny, like y'all two experiencing that we have never experienced.
Yeah, but haven't you heard the thing that said confidence is quiet?
The people that was called narcissists experienced it, but the people that have not.
But haven't you heard it when they say confidence is quiet? If you really were that confident, you wouldn't have to say it.
Right.
That's a lie. When anybody who knows me know that I'm fabulous. That's just it. I've literally had people say, who are you trying to convince that you're fabulous? I'm not trying to convince any of y'all. Just because y'all act like y'all don't see my fabulous don't mean it ain't there. No, as I said, act like you don't see it, because I know you see
it. I work the room. I don't.
Yeah.
When I walk in, I make sure I'm noticed. I never say anything.
That's narcissism.
No, I mean, some people's confidence is quiet, but everybody's confidence is not quiet.
I'm very quiet about it. And so am I.
Yeah.
See, I just take a seat when I go in the room. I don't even care about all that stuff.
I work the whole room. I come in the door dancing. I come in the door dancing and I speak to everybody.
Look at this. And that's a form of narcissism. But I guess so. Y'all, we gotta wrap this up. But Miko, I am glad because I had to learn a lot. I'm telling you, when I first read this, I was like, I'm not dealing with this. I did because
it's looked at as negative. It's really not a negative.
But it says negative stuff though.
No, but then everything in there is not negative, but it's your perception of the word, and that's why. That's why I say you got to look at the word.
Of brokenness and healing. When I hear those words, I feel a different type of way because I'm like.
There's plenty of broke people that's not narcissistic.
Hey, can I ask you a question? In a time when everybody is depressed and lonely, don't they need more confidence? Your depression can be led to because you're not confident about who you are and where you at.
Right.
Right? So
y'all
those narcissistic people
are
necessarily
depressed.
I don't think we need a narcissistic group. I wanted to say, we used to say that I'm black and I'm proud.
Say it loud.
And you know, and most of my leaders are bold, like my heroes are bold people. So I don't feel like none of them was narcissists. I don't feel like they were toxic. So for me, I feel like at the end of the day,
but I don't think Martin Luther King and Malcolm X had like these traits.
You have to.
But you have
to. Okay. Wait a minute. You say that, but you just said that they have people that hang. You said part of these traits that you have people that hang on to them. They still got people hanging on to them.
And they've been dead how long?
They still got people hanging on to them.
Are you narcissistic too?
Who, me? I very well could be, but let me tell you, I haven't went and got diagnosed. But then even if they tell me, let me get you like this. Even if they tell me that this is what the problem is and I'm a narcissist, I'm gonna say, okay, well, now what does that mean? Right. And where does that place me at?
And then
what am I supposed? Am I supposed to act different now?
Your sister said that it's hiding things and being in denial.
You know what?
Yeah.
And I would agree with that, but because now that I understand or I researched or whatever, I am more conscious how I handle people and how I deal with things. Because there are people that I like that I mistreat.
That you definitely have gotten better.
And so now when I like a person, I consciously treat them differently. Because I can really treat everybody the same.
But even the way that you treated them doesn't necessarily make you a narcissist. It makes you that person that you are, or who you are, and how you feel about that person, those individuals, and those situations.
That's
because you'll take three people and you'll treat all three of them differently. That doesn't mean that you're not the same person that you were when you were with this one, that one, or that one.
But what I will say is, when it comes to that, whatever people say this is, I do fit in those parameters. I understand that. So because of that, I had to look into myself and rebuild who I was, because I really wasn't a good person. I really wasn't. I was mean. I just wasn't a good person. And so I went through a point in my life where I felt like I had no friends. But when I look back at myself, I didn't deserve to have friends.
And see, I've never been in that space.
Oh yeah, I was in that space.
So I've never been in that space. So here, let me say this too, because a lot of times that term is typically aimed at brothers.
Yeah.
That is typically aimed at brothers by sisters, right? And you're the first sister I've ever met who said that. But then when she was giving the description, you said that was sisters. And when she was saying what she was saying, I was thinking about a plethora of sisters that I know who operate under that spectrum, who are never wrong. It's always somebody else's fault. They never have to take ownership or accountability. Always vulnerable, always needed help. I know they were vulnerable because I came to help them. One, I came to help, and then she turned around and called me narcissist, right? So I'm just saying, at the end of the day.
So how many people have called you a narcissist?
It was only that one person besides her to call me that two people, and I would always say those people are typically narcissists themselves, and they don't know me. Because if you know about all the people I've helped,
somebody just called me a narcissist.
Well, if you think about this when you think about women in general, most of the time when it comes to the relationships, men and women, not just like in a couple, but just men and women relationships, if I play the victim, you're going to help me. And my girlfriend is going to uphold me, like, girl, keep doing that. And so that's why we don't really get labeled, because we expect for women to behave that way.
And a man ain't never supposed to be a victim.
But if he's a victim, then we start calling names like, oh, he this, he that.
He's a sucker.
Right, all that. And that's why we always say the nice guy finishes last, because he's so nice. But there's
so you're either a sucker or you're a narcissist.
Yeah. Okay, so brothers out there, here's the thing. I gotta wrap it up. So.
If you go to the candy store and you see
and I just found out that Q Bear is a narcissist too.
So brothers, you a narcissist or you a sucker. Those are the two things you.
That's not whoa.
But you can be a lover if you're.
You cannot put all black women in a box. I love and appreciate brothers.
I didn't say anything about black women.
Well, I said brothers. I love and appreciate brothers. I don't think you're any of that at all.
I appreciate you.
Okay, so I have a comment here. It comes from Eddie. It says, we all have skeletons in our closet. However, as a black person, there's nothing wrong with being positive. Those are just names given.
That's it.
I agree with that.
Well, I thought we was going to need 2 segments. We definitely understood what was going on in this camp today. We sat on 2 different sides. narcissists. And we not.
See how they do? Somebody call
I'm
her
glad.
No,
but let me say this. I'm glad that Tamiko did come because when I first met her, I used to be like, Lord, this girl is so mean, and the Lord, oh my God, and she's like, nope.
I like her.
When I met her, I was like, oh, she's fine.
But you know what's crazy?
She has energy.
You know what's crazy?
Be nice. I used to be like, be nice.
Narcissists is the people that everybody run to for help for everything.
Right.
And then those are the people with things.
How would you know you not?
Because most of the people that I know who are narcissists, I see everybody running to them for help.
Well,
I'm not talking about Tamiko in that sense because I feel like what Tamiko was saying, she doesn't necessarily need people to run for because she's not that empathetic of a person.
But let me tell you something. Let's talk about the good traits of narcissists.
But I will say this about when Tiffany said that about me. But ask her who is her most honest friend.
Yeah. And I was gonna say that. I was gonna say the good traits about it is when the good traits about it. If I don't want no cut and dry, I know that Tamiko would be like boom, 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 like really.
But are you honest and raw?
Yeah, like
no, I say it very nicely.
See, I'm not gonna. If you call me for advice, I'm not gonna candy coat it for you because you.
And then it would come back. But you know what? And here's the thing about it, and that's why.
But it comes from a good place,
right? But here's the thing about it too, as well as like even when you have your little difficult things and you're talking about stuff, it does build your confidence. Now let me tell you that because it's the things that we probably went through, and if I'm discussing it with her, she'd be like, "Why do you care? Right. What is going on with this?" And those are things that you have to be like, "Oh, let me recheck myself." Because you can get in that vulnerable moment and feel like, allow somebody to come in and kind of shift who you are. And then when you talk, when I do talk to Tamiko, it'd be like, why do you care? Who is that? Like, why do you feel like that? Why would you think that you got to put yourself here to do that? And I'd be like, you MFing right. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'd leave out like, you right. Like, I fell off for like 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
But narcissist, or she just a dope person?
I ain't saying she told me she's a narcissist.
I'm definitely dope.
She's dope, but I mean, she didn't tell me. I mean, I didn't.
She said I'm
we
definitely
come
dope.
over here. We brought her on for informational purposes. Like, she been told me this. Like, she came on to give us more insight about it because we could talk. We would have just been talking about it, but somebody that's actually diagnosed and okay with it and could tell about it. We would like to have more professional people on here.
Tiffany got some swag to herself too. Like, we ain't even about to hold on. Stop it. You're not. I wouldn't say you're narcissist, but I think you definitely got some confidence to yourself. You got a lot of strength. I think we could draw from you for your strength as well. And your strength. Mm-hmm. You got some leadership. You got viewership. People are viewing in to hear what you got to say. Mm-hmm. So that means you got some followers as well. I just think that we need to find a better word because if you take out the toxic stuff, all those other traits that we can talk about Miko or talk about Tiffany or talk about anybody at this table, we'll be saying that those things are good, those things are needed. The problem is you cancel them out when you name 12 good things and then 12 bad things. Right. So now you're down to 0. Right. How about you just take the 12 good things and then those 12 other things that you're talking about, they may be there or they may not be there. Right. So we have to be careful with how we do.
And that's why I just said the good things. I know there has been several conversations that me and Tamiko has had that was like, had to redirect myself to like, wait a minute, did I just let somebody knock me off my block like that? Hold on, let me get back on. You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of times, people energies just don't mix, and that's okay. And when somebody's energy is your demons,
but that was something good that you said as well, as far as like you was toxic to people, but not to your husband. I ain't gotta worry, right? That's all that matters after 20 years. I'm toxic to people, but not to my husband.
Right.
Huh?
No, I'm listening to you.
Oh. So Thomas and Amika, are you guys?
Yes.
Look.
Are we what? Are we good?
Yeah.
Y'all good. Okay. We just wanted to.
We gonna come by y'all before
But you know what? They was
good before we started. It was just funny because they actually gave us something to talk about this week, and it was just so funny. But you know what? I had a girl that called me last week. She actually, because of the stuff I said, I definitely deal with a toxic one, and not even like you said. I'm gonna just call him. He was a toxic person. It was my last marriage, and she called me like they could not understand the 11 years of that drawn out, emotional damage and all that stuff. She could, but then she called me and she was like, "Wow, now I can see, how those things would have affected me of messing with a toxic person. Not just as he was narcissistic, but to know that he was toxic. So it definitely you could tell, and people don't know your journey or your story while you're going through it and you telling people. But then after when they go through it, then they can finally see it. Like, okay.
And that same person that you consider toxic may be the best person to somebody else.
Yes, it was the best.
Which is crazy,
yes.
but it just is.
So, what we got?
Oh,
you got one more comment? We got one last comment and we done. We did say we was going over tonight. We did tell everybody we was going to do 90 minutes because Thomas wanted to. What trait is that he wanted his dark personality to be talking about himself the whole time?
I didn't get enough me time.
Yeah, you did. You did. All right, go ahead, baby.
Nunu says she's always good for giving good comments. Nunu says, as a black person, a black person can't be a narcissist because a black person knows the world will never revolve around them because we are black.
I don't know about that. My world is all about me.
Hey, know who you are, know your history, and know your disposition.
Says, when a person has been through something, they are able to talk about confidence with life experiences. There's not a label; they just know life.
Yeah.
All right, so Cuba, did you learn something? Cuba, did you learn something?
I always learn something. Narcissist.
We're gonna get on there. All right, thank you guys. Next Thursday, we will let you know we're talking about 7 p.m. We love you. And any more comments, you can get what is www.4opinions.com.
Bye everybody.
Bye.